What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another TCG Tabletop episode. Today, we're going to have two games back to back. I'm going to be playing Three Musketeers in both of them. In the first game, I'm going to be playing against Sak. He's going to be playing Cherubimon, the new purple hybrid deck, and he's also going to be playing that with some yellow Digitamas instead of the like a standard purple base. So Sak's going to start out, get the Bushi Agumon down. He does play one of Cupimon, just in case, on the off chance that he starts it, but he doesn't get it there. And then it looks like, unfortunately, he's going to pass, giving me 3 memories, so a slow start for Sak there. I'm going to flip over my one of Zaumon, a bit unfortunate there, but I'm going to get a Gabumon down, get into a promote. I am playing the Eismon scatter mode package. Unfortunately, I don't get that down, but I do get a Takumi Aiba, which is gonna be able to slow down Sak just a bit, just because the Truby base deck typically tries to play very aggressive with rookies. My promote's gonna swing and survive there, and I'm just gonna play down another rookie. Sak going in, another Bushi, and this time playing a Salamon, so still no tamers for him. I'm going to be activating a Gabumon's ability to discard a Three Musketeers option. I think with the new Eyes mode, our Eismon scatter mode package with some Gabumons underneath is a very good engine to kind of get this Three Musketeers deck going. I find it just a bit more consistent and fast than kind of what it was in the previous format. The only question is, does it have enough to kind of take on these new hybrid-based decks where removal may not be as effective against them, right? Because basically you have to get rid of tamers instead of actual creatures. So I'm going to continue attacking here. My stuff is surviving, so I don't get to use my scatter mode ability of draw 3, discard 2 quite yet. I'm just going to go into a map there, grab another scatter mode for next turn. I'm guaranteed at least 3 memories, so I should be able to go into that scatter mode next turn. Continue my aggression here. Sak's going to go into the new Bokomon, look for a hybrid and a tamer. Unfortunately, he's only able to find a tamer there. He's going to take that analog. Sak going to go into that Loemon and then pass over turn by going into the Rihimon. Rihimon, the new purple hybrid level 5. When it's deleted, you can, and it has a hybrid underneath, you can summon a tamer from the discard. So it really is, it just kind of creates this loop where the purple deck will almost always have a tamer down, which is pretty good for tempo. And you really don't have to continuously set up tamers over and over again. I'm going to swing again with the scatter mode. It's not going to die, but I'm going to activate a Death Claw. I had swung into a Death Claw, and that had popped my promote. I'm going to Death Claw my own scatter mode to get rid of the Bokomon. With the draw 2, discard 1 of the Gabumon, I'm going to discard Eismon. The new Eismon, whose ability is if you have a scatter mode and discard, when you discard him, you summon him. And so this is really going to allow Three Musketeers to also keep up the pressure against some of these decks. And you can kind of just decide between either keeping up pressure with bodies in Eismon if you have them, or you can just get rid of more options to fuel your Beelstar. Beelstar is going to get rid of the Rihimon, but obviously it resummoned the Koichi. And that's just really the power of purple here. Doesn't need to take the time to get another tamer. Sack not getting really the optimal setup here, obviously taking him a while to get going, but he is able to kind of get back into this game and make it just a little bit close. Unfortunately, it looks like he's not able to find that Rihimon. He went into the other purple level 4 hybrid, the Leomon, that has retaliation if it has a Koichi underneath it. Sack just gonna swing. It is going to die to the promote because they both have 6k. He's gonna gain a memory because of Koichi's inheritable ability. Excuse me. And unfortunately, just gonna have to pass. Hope to get lucky here with some options in the discard. I'm gonna go up to scatter mode. It is a good chance that I do win, but still want to play out all my effects correctly just in case. Yep, and then I'm just going to close out the game. So really, Sack not getting a great start there. Really needed that Rihimon, and really needed to get into a level 4 there, or his level 6, but just a bit too slow, and I was able to rush him down with the Eismon package. So going into game number 2, I'm going to be going first. I think with this deck, I am just trying to hard mulligan for scatter mode on turn 1. I think seeing with the mulligan system right now being tested out for Digifest, the upcoming Digifest, it really helps out a deck like this where I think scatter mode really helps this deck to get going, and seeing one of the 4 copies in the top 10 is obviously much more likely than seeing it in the top 5. Discarding that Beelstar, going into Takumi again. And now getting a second Takumi down, which is really going to slow down any kind of aggressive rookie plays by Sack. And I do think that Takumi Aiba is better for Three Musketeers in this version of the deck than Analog. Analog Youth, while you get to discard 3 and take 1 Digimon from those 3 to your hand, and that kind of the discard helps fuel your Three Musketeers engine. Really, you're not ever going to get use out of that second ability of tapping it whenever a level 5 is destroyed with a source or higher to gain a memory, because we don't run any level 5s. Beelstar would never have a source. Takumi Aiba, you get the draw because now this variant of the deck is much more likely to go into the champions, as we're trying to go into the scatter modes. The previous version was trying to just use rookies, so you can get the draw there, and then you slow down some of these more aggressive decks as well, making it so they have just a few less plays, and hopefully you're able to kind of keep up with the aggression. So Sack went for Bokomon on his turn. Going to be able to go up into a level 4 tamer for free with Bokomon's ability of gaining 2 memory whenever a tamer digivolves. Sack is going to go into that Rihimon, passing over turn at 1. I'm just going to keep swinging here with scatter mode. Hopefully I do die, so I'm going to, or get deleted, so I'm going to get my draw 3, discard 2 off. No Eismon there. I just discarded double fly bullet. Now I have 4 cards in for the Three Musketeers, so my Beelstar is going to cost 8 right now. Going to be able to swing the Bushi Agumon. Is going to make it so my promote survives, and I'm able to Death Claw, able to get rid of that Bokomon. Sack was already able to get value out of it, but really want to stop him from getting any more value. He has another tamer. Going to Fly Bullet here, and Sack is going to use Rihi's ability to summon a Kari. That Kari is being played in high counts in both the yellow hybrid deck and this purple hybrid deck. It really, kind of like Takumi Aiba, right, slows down these aggressive decks like blue. I know like a blue ancient Garurumon, red ancient Greymon. This purple deck, they all are kind of aggressive and are trying to take multiple swings in one turn, and these Kari and Takumi Aiba, I think it's just like a format that's really good for these kind of cards, to slow down any aggressive strategies, while also building up your tamers, right, which the hybrids are able to go on to a lot of these decks. So this tamer heavy format is going to be interesting to navigate. I haven't seen a lot of Zwart defeat. I wonder if we'll see more of that as the format goes on, or if we will just see more people to play into Lucemon, things like that. Just figure out ways to kind of deal with these tamers. It'll be interesting to see how this format goes along. Sack's going to end his turn with a Lucemon, so that's kind of another benefit of this yellow package here for Cherubimon with the Salamon, the Lucemon, and being able to kind of summon that Lucemon again with the Cherubimon. Just multiple ways to recover this security and stay alive just a good bit longer than just a normal purple variant. So I'm going to keep swinging and discarding these 7-cost options. Sack is going to get this analog off. I do believe he forgets to use Kari the first swing, but he does use it on the second one. I think he just forgot because I flipped over an analog and he had done the ability, and at that point he had forgotten. I am going to use Death Claw on my scatter mode again. I really like Death Claw. Once again, another way to deal with any aggressive decks, or as well as get rid of any Bokomons or even Lucemons like that, while also getting value out of your scatter mode, making sure you get that draw 3, discard 2, as well as any inheritables. Gonna go up into promote here, being able to draw 3 because of those Takumi Aibas, bringing down a Kari. Unfortunately, I do not have the other promote or another promote in hand to evolve on top of this Eismon for game. And I'm just going to end the turn by going into scatter mode on the back. And so Sack down to 0 security, but has the potential to go back up because of his Salamon, because of the potential to use Cherubimon. Maybe not this turn, we'll have to see, but if he can survive, potentially. Gonna go into that Leomon 6K with Retaliation. Would not be surprised to see Sack crash into my promote, and then possibly use something like his own Deathclaw to pop the Salamon. Nope, he's actually going to go to the Rihimon, so he doesn't even need to crash. He's going to just get rid of my promote, keep a body on board. Zach just kind of taking his time, making sure he's making the right play. But I do think he does have to Deathclaw here, because if he does swing with Salamon, even if it does die or get deleted, I just have 2 swings. So yep, Zach is going to get that Deathclaw there. Put him back up to 1 security. And with double Kari on his side of the board, really the only way for me to win against Sack on this turn is for the scatter mode to get deleted and then have a promote in hand. Unfortunately, I am not going to get deleted, or the scatter mode's not going to get deleted. I'm just going to flip over another Kari. That is going to be quite a problem for me to close out the game, and I actually think this might have been a misplay on my end to swing into security here, and I mean, I could possibly go for game, but I think if I don't get it, like I just didn't get it right there, I actually have the Zaumon, and getting rid of that Rihimon I think would have been much stronger for me, because right now Sack has can get into a Cherubimon or into a Massimon. I'm just counting up my options right now. I believe I'm at 10, so any Beelstar would cost 2. And I actually think I make a mistake here. I did not account for the Analog Youth. I don't think I did. I don't think I accounted for the Analog Youth. So instead of going to 3 memory with the mat, I actually don't know if that works that way, because I'm wondering, would Sack really go to 5 memory here? I'm not sure Sack would go to 5 memory. My Beelstar costs 2. Oh, he would. The double analog goes to 4, and then I'm forgetting the Koichi. That's my mistake. Yeah, so that was a misplay on my part. Him going up to 5 makes this Beelstar not as worth it, right? Because he's just going to play down another Tamer, and it's really not great, honestly, as a play when I look back on it. I think a Nailbone and putting out, I believe I have a Gazimon in the discard, a Gazimon in a scatter mode, something like that, where Sack couldn't gain memory, potentially with that like Gazimon, and then also pressure board, right? With multiple bodies. I think that actually might have been quite a costly misplay here, because Sack is actually able to go up into his into Massimon, resummon a Lucimon, and get another recovery. So once again, he is going to survive here. Fly Bullet flipping over, deleting the Beelstar, and so really I think I did make a couple, watching this, I do think I made a couple misplays, not using the scatter mode to crash into the Rihi, and then not using Nailbone to kind of summon multiple bodies. I think it would have been much more useful. Unfortunately, that Beelstar is going to cost 1. Because of those Karis, I can't get in more than one swing. So those Karis putting in a lot of work. You know, they just, yeah. I mean, with no ice wall in format, this is definitely not as good as Ice Wall by any means. I mean, that's why Ice Wall is a limited card, but Kari is basically the next best thing, and it has been doing very well in testing at slowing down any of these other decks. Sack nicely swinging with Mastimon first, knowing that if an option flips over, his Salamon is still going to get a recovery out. Because if he had swung with Salamon, the Mastimon would be going down, and he would have no security, because the Salamon would have died. He could have killed it with Deathclaw, but look at this. I also make a mistake here, and I do delete the wrong thing on that last turn as well. So I deleted the Lucimon with my Trump Sword instead of a Mastimon. And so because of that, Sack was able to Deathclaw that Mastimon, use his Analog Youth on his turn, and get back up to 5 memory. And so I should have deleted his Mastimon instead of his Lucimon, so he could not Analog Youth on his turn. And that misplay is going to cost me the game there. And I really think these are going to be... It's a very slight misplay. But these are the things that are going to matter in this format. Tamers flipping out of the security is also pretty important. I do think that even attacking is pretty, like, I would expect to flip over a Tamer. And so all these things are going to come into account when playing this format, and really just, is attacking worth it? What are you attacking? What are you deleting with your effects? So all these things, I mean, obviously all these things are important in past formats as well, but I just think they are now amplified because of just the amazing burst potential all these new hybrid decks have. They can just do so much with so little memory that if you just give them one extra memory, or you make one slight suboptimal play, these decks are really able to take massive advantage of that. And so really it's going to take playing perfect, really, I think, in this format, making very good calculated decisions all the way through the match to really kind of come out on top. Going into game 3, we've been able to kind of get set up here decently well. I'm going to Deathclaw, get rid of that Bokomon. And really all I need to find here is a scatter mode. Yep, and there it is. Right on cue, so hopefully I can kind of get this engine going. I only have two 7 cost options in discard right now, making Beelstar still a 10. And with only 1 Takumi out, Sack is really looking good here. I mean, he has multiple Tamers down for his Cherubimon. If he can get like a Koichi down soon, I would be looking pretty toast, I think, just because of the amount of pressure. Unfortunately for Sack, he does only he has to hard drop the Tamer, or sorry, not the Tamer, he has to hard drop the hybrid here. It's really not optimal for Sack. He doesn't want to Evo up on top of that mat. He wants to be able to still have his memory Tamer. That scatter mode's gonna pop. I'm gonna drop that Eismon and a Nailbone. Gonna Evo on top of Eismon with that promote, getting an extra draw with the Takumi. And right there, like just like I said, that little extra aggression, flipping over that tamer is gonna be so crucial for Sack to continue his engine, because while I did just delete his hybrid that he hard dropped, he now has a tamer on board to really, if he has any more hybrids on board, he's gonna be able to keep on chugging along fine. And so these little attacks I do think are potentially misplays. I don't know, if there's anything else I could really do, to be quite honest. I am an aggressive deck, and that might just be the downfall of Three Musketeers in this format. I do think it's strong, but flipping over tamers and not having your Scattermon pop, it's it does hurt. And using the Death Claw, the one of memory, to be able to pop your scatter mode, it's just a lot of tempo and hard to deal with all these tamers constantly unless you're hitting, scatter modes and Eismon early on consistently. And so truly here, I think this is a breaking point for me. As you can see on this turn, this is, a couple of turns ago, it looked like we had both set up, and now it looks like my board is kind of the same, if not lesser than it was before, and Sack has really been able to grow, another tamer on board. He's got the Bokomon down, so he's going to be able to get value out of that. He has the Rihimon, and it's just, his board looks a lot better than mine right now, and that's the power as well, building off of these tamers, right? I don't have tamers, and my deck doesn't have that ability to build off of them as the game goes longer. And truly, I'm just hoping that I can use Beelstar to finish out the game. And right now, with only 5 7-cost options in my discard, Beelstar still costs 7, and even though the game has taken a couple turns here, I really don't have that much burst potential to close out the game. And now Sack has 4 bodies on board. I only have 3 security. He still has another tamer as well, so as long as there's nothing in my in my security, it looks like Sack is gonna finish this one out. And so while that misplay did cost me last game, that would have been a 2-0 win for me, but you can easily see how a slight misplay can just swing the game so hard in this format because of the value these hybrids get. And then a game where Sack can just really, or where these purple hybrids can really just get going, get all these tamers down, and it's, Cherubimon's very powerful. Still a close set though, and I do think at least Three Musketeers, it was a close match at the end. Just Sack kind of took control in that third game. Going into this next match, I'm going to be playing my friend Gage. He's going to be playing another hybrid deck, but this time he's going to be playing green, and he's going to be playing a red base. And he's going to be playing with that red Thomas. He's going to be playing Flamon for that search. I am able to get into that scatter mode. So really, you can see how with that mulligan ability in effect, or mulligan rule in effect, I'm able to get going pretty well. And I think, at least in my testing, I really like the mulligan the mulligan ruling quite a bit. It really makes the games, I think, closer and makes sure that at least both players have some sort of playable hand instead of potentially one player having a bricky hand, and really the game kind of being over or being decided really before the game really starts. And so I really like that. We'll have to see kind of when what it comes to be with the side decks. I do think they're interesting, but we'll see. We'll have to see. Right? I am going to get a nail bone, so I'm going to get a mat, flip over my mat, grab back of that scatter mode, and the nail bone is going to allow me to summon Gabumon again. So I have something to evolve my scatter mode on this turn and attack a second time with scatter mode on back-to-back turns. And so turns like this, or early starts like this from Three Musketeers, is really where the deck is able to shine. And once again, I'm going to get that Takumi Aiba and flip over I flipped over a nail bone, but actually we were talking, I should do my discards for scatter mode first, right there. It's important to kind of do that first, those abilities first, before we have knowledge of what's coming out of security. I'm going to discard that Eismon and really be able to, once again, get a little bit lucky with that. Another nail bone. I do play 3 in this list. And summon another Gabumon. So really able to keep a board presence here. Looks like Gage not able to find the level 5 hybrid. So he is going to be stuck. And I'm going to be able to swing over with the promote. And the value right there of scatter mode, you see the scatter mode, that's draw 3, discard 2, but in conjunction with that demi mirror, which is draw 1, discard 1, Gabumon, draw 2, discard 1, that's a total of draw 6, discard 4. That's just so much. 1, you get to see so many cards through your deck, and then 2, you get to so much discard to fuel that Beelstar engine, and also potentially get some Eismon summons. So that is a huge value stack, in my opinion. I do run 4 Gabumons of that on delete Gabumon, and 4 of the when attacking Gabumons, just because I think that is just so much discard, so much value for this deck. So Gage here now swinging with the Flamemon. I was able to keep Gage at 1 memory last turn by evoing on top of the Eismon with promote, and because I left him at 1 and that Tamer is not a JP on Gage's side of the board, that means any evolution from his hybrid is going to cost 2, where the JP is able to reduce that cost to 1. Gage would have been able to get a swing in here and potentially end the game. And also in conjunction with that, like the Takumi also made it so he had no memory to work with. But he possibly could have evoed on top of JP first, right? So that Gage just not having the right tamer there, able to keep me in the game a bit longer. He did want to evo there. He told me, while it does give me the option to remove his hybrid, it also leaves me the possibility to continue to memory choke him and leave him at 1, and he still wouldn't be able to evo the next turn. So Gage kind of taking a little bit of a risk here, but I think it's also a calculated risk on his end to evo up into this hybrid. I'm going to be able to Deathclaw that Eismon, get rid of his hybrid, and then I'm going to evo up into scatter mode in the back. And Gage is going to get that JP down, and that is a bit scary for me because he'll be able to end game next turn, but I do have 11 options in discard. So my Beelstar, because of that scatter mode, and you can see that all those early scatter modes I was able to get off because of the mat, because of the nail bones. I was just able to get these multiple draw 3, discard 2, as well as the inheritables, to get all these options into the discard really quickly. And now I have the Beelstar to kind of end the game with Nailbone here, and end the game a turn before I'm at threat here, and Evo on top of with Promote to end the game. So that really, I mean, when this deck Three Musketeers is hitting, it gets those, gets those options in security to get value out of. When you're hitting those scatter modes, you can just put on this relentless pressure that can be hard to deal with, especially if your opponent kind of just misses a beat. So going into game 2 here, Gage doesn't get the rookie down, but he is able to get his Mimi down, so I won't be able to choke him this game, memory choke him this game. Unfortunately, I flip over my one of Zaomon. Gonna go into a Labra, try to get some draw off. Looking based on my discards, I discarded a Gabumon, so not a 7-cost option. Don't really have that great start like I did last turn. Gonna still be able to get that Takumi Aiba down, though I do play 3, so there is a good chance that I see it. And I think Takumi Aiba is very valuable in these situations as well, because it's going to allow me to draw even if I have a promote. I do have a dead hand. Gage going to Evo on top of his JP for 1 onto that new Beetlemon, which allows him to search the top 5 for a Tamer and a Hybrid. Another way, it's obviously very different than Purple, but it's just this consistency boost where Purple keeps a Tamer on board. This green Beetlemon is able to kind of cycle through your deck to find your pieces, so it works differently, but it's just a different version of consistency for this hybrid deck that allows it to kind of keep going, right? Keep chugging along. And now Gage has 2 Bokomon down, which is very, very scary, right? I am going to Deathclaw, and I'm going to get rid of that Beetlemon. And then I'm going to drop the Gazimon there just to stop Gage from getting any value out of those Bokomon. Gage is going to go into another Beetlemon. I'm going to be able to search. Doesn't find the Tamer, but does find what I believe to be a Metal Kabuterimon. I'm going to turn my Gazimon. The new Metal Kabuterimon is able to, when it evos on top of a hybrid, able to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So he's going to be able to get rid of that Gazimon fairly easily. Not able to get value out of Bokomon, but potentially will be able to get value out of those Bokomon on future turns. Gage gonna swing with that Flamemon, passing over turn because of Takumi. I'm gonna flip over that Fly Bullet. I'm gonna get rid of that green Metal Kabuterimon, obviously just because I think if it is able to evo up into Rhino Kabuterimon, that's the biggest threat this deck has by far. And now, just gonna go into that scatter mode on the back, passing over turn to Gage with only 1 memory. Gage is going to put down another JP, which is very scary because He still has those 2 Bokomons on board. My scatter mode is going to get deleted here. I'm going to get that stack that I told you about earlier, that draw 6, discard 4. Getting rid of some of those options there and summoning 2 Eismon. A lot of value there. I believe I'm just checking how many options I'm at. There, I'm going to think about the play here. Do want to get rid of those Bokomon if possible. I think I'm eyeing up a Deathclaw on the Flamemon and then potentially using Beelstar after I swing here with Promote. I'm going to lose. I think I'm eyeing up a Happy Bullet Shower to get rid of those 2 Bokomon. But still, even though I do get rid of those 2 Bokomon, Beelstar is unfortunately still at a 7 cost, so Gage able to go up to 7 memory. I did clear board. He doesn't have much going on for him, and he's at 1 security left, but this is going to be a lot of memory for him to potentially kind of get back some tempo with here. So let's see what Gage does. He's going to start with that Boko. Gonna get the search off, going to find a Flamemon and another JP. He's gonna be able to get that free, I believe that's a Beetlemon. I think he should be searching here. Yep, there's the search. Finding another JP and the Arbormon. And there he goes. I think this is the first Rhino Kabuterimon that Gage has been able to get into thus far in the game. And then there is that that red option. Sorry, give me a moment to look up the name real quick. But it's very powerful with the hybrid Dex Atomic Inferno, giving a security attack +1. And so Gage is going to be able to get security attack +1, then evo up into that Troymon. And it's going to have a total of 16k DP with security attack +1, really not being threatened by much other than a potential fly bullet or something like that in security. So Atomic Inferno kind of acting like this format's Lightning Joust in a sense, where in last format for Nats, there was the Greymon or Agumon deck that was using Joust with Greymon for aggression. Hybrids now have this, are using this Atomic Inferno similarly to apply that pressure. Unfortunately for me, that pressure is going to break through my security. I do flip over a Nailbone, but I do not play Vilemon in the deck, so I couldn't summon the Vilemon from my discard, though that is a card that I am considering, and is actually in my side deck, but I am considering it for the main deck just as a one-of to deal with these aggressive hybrid decks. Going into game 3, Gage is going to get double Flamemon off. Look at that flip, that search. He was thinking of mulliganing, and in his mulligan there he had 2 of his level 6s. He drew into a Gaia Force for turn, and I believe there was like the Giga Blaster, I believe it's called, the new red option. So actually, not mulliganing was good for Gage there, because his hand would have been terrible in this game 3. I'm going to be able to get up into Promote and Labramon, discarding an option for my turn, so there's no scatter mode. nothing too crazy on my side, unfortunately. But that is okay because clearly Gage is drawing poorly, having to hard drop that Arbomon. But look at that. What do you know? Flipping over that JP, and that is going to hurt. And I actually was going to Deathclaw the Arbomon, or Deathclaw my Labramon, and popping the Arbomon, but I actually decided to swing with Labra first because I do have the promote to possibly Deathclaw. So I do think I want to keep up the pressure here. That's why I do swing with Labra. But it does survive here. Gage gonna go into that Beetlemon. Unfortunately, not getting much. So I don't even think he pulled anything off of there, to be quite honest. I do have it on 1.75 speed, so it is going a bit fast. Yeah, Gage really not getting anything there. Death clawing his one hybrid, having to drop down another JP. So really, unfortunately, while he does have the Mimi now and the JP, I think he'll have to find some hybrids. So I think he'll have to hope he top decks them. I'm able to keep up this pressure. Even though I did flip over the Mimi, I do keep my promote, and so it's able to kind of continue swinging. And that's going to be the big thing in this format. These low DP, what was considered low DP before in previous formats, are just going to survive a lot longer because there's just a lot more tamers. Excuse me, a lot more tamers. Where your Digimon will survive, and there's also just a lot more of these low DP hybrids in the format, which a lot of these swings will survive against. Gage gonna go into his Kabuterimon. And then go into his Troymon off that Rhino Kabuterimon. Only have 4 options in my discard. I'm going to be able to get up into that scatter mode. If my scatter mode does get deleted here, I do have the potential to win with an Eismon and promote, but I do not, my Scattermon does not get deleted. And unfortunately, I fly bullet the Ancient Troy, forgetting that the Ancient Troy summons a hybrid, and here Gage able to get value out of that Mimi, but unfortunately swinging with the Rhino Kabuterimon first, and I think that was possibly a slight misplay here. There was quite a few different plays that Gage could have done, which we're talking about here. Gage could have actually waited to promote altogether with Mimi, and then promoted afterwards. That would have avoided the Death Claw, but perhaps if Rhino Kabuterimon had been deleted by a check, then they couldn't have brought out the Flamon later. And surely I thought this was game, just because Gage had multiple tamers. He had the memory to go into another hybrid, but just with that kind of bricky hand in game 3, slight brick hand, not able to find those hybrids. He's just gonna try to use his option and delete my scatter mode here, just to see, play it out. Hopefully I don't summon an Eismon, but I do have 3 in my hand, and so unfortunately that's gonna be game. The best play for Gage there is probably bring out the Flame On with Mimi and swing with Flame On first, just to get around a potential Death Claw that did happen. But another close game. So I do think, Three Musketeers a little bit run hot just because of the way the deck is, right? Similar to how it was a little bit last format, you can get bricky hands, but with this scatter mode and with this mulligan ruling, it's much more likely you get a good hand. And when you get a good hand with this deck, you're really able to keep up the pressure against these hybrid decks and, make it a close match. So yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.